Why more never makes you unforgettable. Most people spend their whole lives trying to become impossible to forget by doing more, talking more, texting more, explaining more, showing up first every time, hoping their constant presence will finally make them matter. But here's the quiet law nobody tells you. What is always available eventually becomes invisible. Not because you did anything wrong, because the human mind stops noticing what never leaves. This is why the people who give the most are so often valued the least. Their presence stopped being a gift the moment it became guaranteed. If you want to become someone people cannot stop thinking about, hear this clearly. People rarely notice what is always there. They notice what disappears. Most of us were taught backward. We think attention creates value. It's the opposite. Value creates attention. When your whole world bends around being noticed, everything you do starts whispering the same secret. I need you to see me. You reply in seconds because silence terrifies you. You keep the conversation alive because stillness feels like abandonment. And the moment someone else becomes the keeper of your peace, your presence stops meaning anything because it was never really yours to give in the first place. The people who leave a mark on your life were rarely the ones chasing you. They were the ones who brought something real while they were there, depth, calm, weight, so that when they left, you felt the exact shape of what was missing. That is the whole secret. Your absence only means something if your presence meant something first. Stop chasing. Start becoming. Here's what almost no one admits. Unlimited availability doesn't prove love. It quietly kills value. The mind adapts to anything it receives without effort. And once someone knows you'll always answer, always forgive, always rearrange your life for them, they stop feeling the privilege of you at all. This isn't a call to disappear or play games. Manipulation manufactures distance to make someone anxious. Real confidence creates distance simply because your life is too full to spend it all chasing someone's attention. Watch how insecurity behaves. It panics in silence. It sends a second message when the first goes unanswered. It over-explains long after respect has already left the room. Every one of those moves says the same quiet thing. Please don't forget I exist. Self-respect says something different. It says, if you value me, you'll notice when I'm gone. You won't need reminding every single day. Here is the part that should give you chills. The less obsessed you become with being remembered, the more unforgettable you become. Stop chasing conversations. Your words start to matter. Stop making yourself endlessly available. Your time starts to matter. Stop performing for validation. Your confidence becomes impossible to miss. You don't become the absence they can't ignore by vanishing from people's lives. You become it by becoming so whole, so purposeful, so undeniably yourself that your absence leaves a hole shaped exactly like you. Scarcity isn't a trick. It's the truth about priorities. Something happens once your presence stops being manufactured and starts being earned. People begin to feel your absence in ways they never did before. Not because you engineered it, because the human mind has always valued what is limited over what is endlessly available. This has nothing to do with games and everything to do with becoming someone whose time is actually too valuable to hand out without purpose. Picture two people. One rearranges their entire life every time someone calls, abandoning their own goals because being needed has become their identity. The other values people deeply, but protects their peace, their routines, their direction. They respond with intention, not panic. When both of them leave the room, who do you actually feel the absence of? It's obvious. The second person becomes unforgettable because their life was never built around being chased. This is the deepest truth hiding underneath everything. Your absence cannot be ignored when your presence consistently gave something real. Not because you withheld yourself to be missed, because what you offered while you were there mattered, and now it's gone. Become impossible to manipulate. Many people believe unforgettable means loud, constantly reacting, constantly proving, constantly reminding the world they exist. But the people whose absence truly haunts a room learn something different. Emotional control creates more power than emotional intensity ever will. The instant someone learns exactly which words will upset you, which silence will make you chase, which criticism will make you fold, they no longer need to value your presence. They already know how to summon it. But when you stay centered, when a delayed reply doesn't spiral you, when criticism doesn't demand instant defense, your calm becomes the loudest thing in the room, not because you stopped caring, because you stopped needing someone else's behavior to tell you who you are. This isn't coldness. Coldness disconnects from everyone. This is independence. You can love fully and still refuse to lose yourself, chasing anyone who no longer sees your value. And here is the part worth remembering forever. Not every misunderstanding deserves a defense. Not every silence deserves an explanation. Not every departure deserves pursuit. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is keep walking forward and let your peace do the talking. Build a life that doesn't need an audience. The trap most people fall into is believing their worth depends on being watched. They wake up asking silently, "Who noticed me today?" And when no one does, their whole sense of self quietly collapses. But people don't remember the ones who lived for applause. They remember the ones who lived with direction, the ones who kept building even when nobody was clapping. There is a different kind of person entirely, the one who wakes up focused on getting stronger, wiser, better, not more visible. Every conversation they have carries weight because it isn't hunting for approval. And when they leave a room, people feel something real go missing because something real was actually there. Your absence only gains power once your life gains purpose. Some of the most unforgettable people you'll ever meet are not the loudest ones in the room. Often, they say the least. They aren't performing for anyone. They're quietly becoming someone they can respect, whether or not a single person is watching. And that quiet, private dedication is exactly what makes their presence rare. Rarity is what creates value. Value is what makes an absence impossible to ignore. Let silence speak louder than any explanation. Words carry power, but silence, wielded with self-respect, carries more. Most people believe every misunderstanding must be corrected, every accusation answered, every opinion challenged. They spend their whole lives explaining themselves, hoping the right words will finally make someone see them clearly. But endless explanation doesn't protect your value. It quietly erodes it. Silence is not weakness. It is confidence that doesn't need anyone's permission. When you stop justifying every decision, every boundary, every choice, you stop teaching people that your life requires their approval. You start making decisions rooted in your own values instead of the fear of disappointing someone. Here's the part that should sit with you. Some people will misunderstand you no matter how perfectly you explain yourself. The moment you accept that, your silence starts to say something words never could, that your identity no longer needs universal approval to feel whole. And when someone tries to guilt you back into old patterns, when they call your boundary cold or your peace distant, this is where most people crumble and start explaining again. Don't. A boundary that has to keep defending itself was never really a boundary. Let your silence stand. Let it be self-respect, not anger. People will feel the difference. Become so valuable the room changes. When you leave, at the end of every meaningful connection, people don't remember your exact words. They remember how the space around them felt while you were in it. Calm or chaos, strength or need, depth or noise. This is the final truth. Your absence only becomes powerful when your presence was genuinely valuable. You cannot vanish and expect to be missed if you never gave anyone anything worth missing. The goal was never to become hard to reach. The goal is to become impossible to replace. Real value isn't popularity, attention, or applause. All of those evaporate the instant the spotlight moves. Real value lives in character, in steadiness, in the rare ability to make someone feel respected without losing a single piece of yourself in the process. Picture two people walking into the same room. One is scanning every face, adjusting themselves for approval, terrified of being forgotten. The other walks in already whole, listening with real attention, speaking with real purpose, needing nothing from the room to confirm what they already know about themselves. When the first person leaves, the room barely notices. When the second person leaves, the room feels it. Stop chasing people to prove you matter. Stop staying endlessly available just to avoid being forgotten. Stop explaining your worth to people who have already decided not to see it. Build a life so full, so disciplined, so genuinely yours, that your presence needs no performance and your absence needs no explanation. Because one day you'll walk out of a room, out of a relationship, out of someone's life, and you won't need to announce what you left behind. It will already be unmistakable, become so valuable that your presence changes the room. And when you leave, let your absence say everything your words never had to.